What's up, YouTube? Mr. Shua here. Today, we're going to be talking about the Analogue Mega SG. And is it worth it in 2024? Let's find out. Now, in 2019, the Mega SG from Analogue burst onto the scene as a juggernaut in the retro game sphere. Now, this FPGA console plays Mega Drive and Genesis games, and it plays them extremely well. Between the graphics that it puts out and the audio it puts out, it does not much compares to it. Now, let's take a look and see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I chose Aladdin because the graphics are top-notch for a Genesis game. And as you can see, the Mega SG puts down graphics really well. Audio too. Now, when the console launched, it launched at $190. Now, well, that's not a bad price. The final price was $199. After several runs, Analogue announced the Mega SG is no more. They're never making it again, so they say. Now, if they do, I'd buy another one at $199. But when you get into this grand scheme of things, the aftermarket's pricing is terrible. You're looking at $500 and up. No games, no controllers, just the actual console itself. Now, at $200, is it worth it? Absolutely. At $500, is it worth it? Well, I wouldn't say so. So, the one thing that the Analogue doesn't do, and doesn't allow you to do, is it doesn't allow you to play Sega CD games, or Mega CD games, or 32X, or Super 32X games right out of the box. You need to go forth and buy yourself these. And now, when it comes to these, this being the Sega CD, Mega CD, or the 32X, you're dealing with antiquated hardware. And inevitably, it's going to fail. Whether it be the disk drive failing or capacitors leaking, you're going to have a breakdown eventually. Probably sooner rather than later, because you're dealing with, again, antiquated hardware. However, there's also another version of the Sega CD you can get. And while I don't genuinely talk about it, it's because of one key factor. That. $1,000 for a Sega CDX. Is that worth it? No. At that rate, buy the Mega SG, buy the antiquated hardware, and make it all work. Now, with that being said, well, there's this system. This is the Poly Mega. And with the Poly Mega, the future is here, and the future is now. Now, with that being said, what makes the Polymega special? The Polymega allows you to play PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD, and Neo Geo CD games, which is pretty impressive. But you're saying to yourself, Mr. Shua, we're talking about Analogue's Mega SG. Why does all of this matter? Well, you see, out of the box you get the ability to play Sega CD games. And the Sega CD games, you're playing on modern hardware. You're not playing on old, antiquated, possibly failing hardware that you know is going to die at some point soon. Now, the other cool thing the Polymega offers are modules. And in this instance, the module that we're talking about happens to be the Mega Module. Now, the Mega Module comes in at $79. Now, I know the elephant in the room, and you're seeing the price tag on that Polymega at $549, which is steep, yes, but what it does besides play CD games is pretty impressive. Now, what this module does for the Mega Module is allows you to play all Mega Drive games and all Genesis games, which is tremendous. Now, not only does it play those games, but it also plays the 32X library, whether that be North American, PAL, or the Japanese market games, without the antiquated hardware of the 32X adapter. Now, with that being said, that's tremendous because you don't have to deal with dying hardware. Now, the Mega Drive and Genesis library isn't where this train stops. Now, one of the cool features that this console offers is the ability to buy not only the Mega Module that we talked about just previously, but it also lets you buy other modules, like the Power Module. The Power Module allows you to play NES games. Now, besides the NES games, if you've got a 72 to 60 pin adapter, you can also play the Famicom library, which is pretty cool. Now, with that being said, you can also get the Super Module, and the Super Module lets you play the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom library, which is stellar. Because let's be honest, the Super Nintendo lineup has some of the greatest games of all time locked on that system. Now, the fun doesn't stop there, because there's also a Turbo Module, which allows you to play the TurboGrafx library, which isn't that large when you look at the US market. But it also allows you to play the PC Engine games that came out in Japan. Now, that library is massive. And lastly, there's the Ultra Module. Now, the Ultra Module plays Nintendo 64 games from around the globe, which is quite impressive. Now, each and every one of these modules comes with a respective controller that you get to use along with your games. Speaking of games, the Polymega does something quite unique. And if you install an NVMe M.2 drive into the console, you can install your games 100% on your console. So you never need to worry about disk rot, which is tremendous because once that happens, your games are no longer playable. Now, disk rot, is it uncommon? Yes. Does it happen though? It does. And when it does, it sucks. Now, Polymega has stated you can get the modules. They're all in stock right now. However, there's a wait for the consoles. Well, for the base unit. So I reached out and I tweeted Polymega yesterday and said, hey, if somebody were to order one of these right now, how long would it be to get here? And they said March. That's right, March. You're not going to wait 3 years. You have to wait a month, which is amazing. This is the future of retro gaming, ladies and gentlemen. We're here, and this is an amazing time to be alive. At this point where I'm at, save your money. Unless Analogue decides to do one more round at $200 for the Mega SG, $500 in the aftermarket is not worth it. Because for $550 you could turn around and get yourself a Polymega. For $80 you can get whatever adapter you want or module you want and have the time of your life on all modern hardware. Now, choice is up to you, but that's where I stand. And with that being said, comment down below and tell me, what is your favorite Genesis or Mega Drive, Sega CD, or 32X game? Because I'm truly curious. And if you've made it this far, please like and subscribe, because all growth to this channel will be a good thing. Remember, at milestones, I will be doing giveaways. Let's see where this goes.